Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby. But if you've come here to talk about how great the Royal Rumble was, you're in the wrong place. You see, because we bring the hammer down on this show. And while everybody that won tonight was correct, this show was a mess. An absolute mess. And we are going to talk about it right here and right now on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do this.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Heyo, and what is up, wrestling fans? Thank you so much for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Like I said, my name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me is my little buddy Blue the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, and we could have done a better job booking an ending to the Royal Rumble tonight. I want you guys to understand, I'm not angry. And I know my tone and my face, it may seem that I'm angry, but I'm very confused. I am very confused, and I do not understand the mindset of the WWE Creative team. Let's go over a few things together, shall we? Let's look at the World Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles won tonight. Check. Right? We're going to go down the checklist of all the things we wanted to see happen tonight. AJ Styles, check. Still the champ. Brock Lesnar, still the champ. Check. We wanted to see Roman Reigns not win the Royal Rumble. Check. We wanted to see Shinsuke Nakamura win the Royal Rumble. Check. We wanted to see Asuka win the Royal Rumble. Check. All our checks are in a row. Everything went exactly the way we wanted to. So why am I upset? Why am I upset, you're going to ask me? Nick, what is your problem? Why didn't you enjoy the Royal Rumble? I absolutely enjoyed the Royal Rumble. As a fan, as I watched the Royal Rumble, it was great. As I watched the Women's Royal Rumble, it was better than I expected. And that's as far as it's going to go. Because the quality of that Women's Royal Rumble cannot be compared to what we had. We had so many stars in tonight's Men's Royal Rumble, and it came off in the end absolutely fantastic. My problem is, why was it on at 8 o'clock? 100%, I can tell you, if they just would have flip-flopped the Rumbles, this might have been the WWE's best pay-per-view in years. In years. Just based off the winners and losers. But the positioning and the structure of this show was absolutely exhausting. By the time I got to see Shinsuke Nakamura win the Royal Rumble, I was ready to go to bed. I didn't even give a shit about the Universal Championship match. I didn't give a shit about the Raw Tag Team titles at that point. Did you? Because I didn't. I forced myself through the rest of this show to get to the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. To be disappointed by it on a great scheme. On a great level. Because in the great scheme of things, all this was an attention grab. All this was a highlight spot. All they were looking for was headlines. Because if you weren't just looking for headlines, Ronda Rousey would have been in the Royal Rumble. But that's not important. That's not important to you. What did we do? We had Asuka finally shown in a decent light. She had a great appearance in her Rumble. She eliminated a couple of people. She had a great spot with Ember Moon. Probably the best spot in the whole Women's Royal Rumble throughout the entirety of the thing. And what did we get at the end? Asuka's victorious. She's standing in the middle of the ring with the two WWE Women's Champions. And now Ronda Rousey comes out to shit all over Asuka's moment. She gets in the ring dressed up like Roddy Piper. That's how bad WWE Creative is. They go, oh, well, Roddy Piper called her Rowdy Ronda Rousey, so let's just dress her up like the rowdy one, and we'll just give her that because we're fucking stupid. And we don't have a creative department that knows anything. We can't do anything original. We're going to take what's old and make it new through Ronda Rousey. And then on top of it all, she's standing there, smiling. This is an MMA former champion, smiling, all happy to be there. She's supposed to be a badass. Why didn't Ronda Rousey come out and start breaking ankles? Start wrapping people up in arm bars? Going over and shaking Stephanie McMahon's hand. Stephanie a little trepidatious, looking like she doesn't want to do it, like she's disgusted by Rousey for some reason. And Rousey's pointing at the WrestleMania sign, standing in front of the winner of the first ever historic women's fucking Royal Rumble. How does that make sense to you? Who the fuck is Ronda Rousey? Some fucking lady that won the UFC championship when they made a championship for the females and then got her ass beat twice. Embarrassed twice. Where is her value? Where is her name value? 5 years ago, maybe. You sacrifice this whole agenda, this whole woman's evolution, and you put Ronda Rousey above everyone? You put Ronda Rousey above the prestige you're trying to build around a women's Royal Rumble? What did it mean? What did it mean? How embarrassing for Asuka. I would much rather have found out who she was going to pick. And then you could have had Rousey come out tomorrow night on Raw dressed up like Roddy Piper. Why didn't you give her the fucking skirt too? That's a disgrace. That is a disgrace to wrestling. You just had the greatest female performer on the planet win a first ever historic event. Let me drill it through your brains so you could see why I'm upset. The greatest thing you have had come your way in the women's division, maybe even in the entire roster. Asuka is a once-in-a-lifetime special talent. 500 plus days undefeated. Goes through the Royal Rumble and wins it. First ever. History making. And then she gets put in the shadow of a fucking MMA has-been. Give me a break. And in an even bigger travesty, all of this that happened essentially sacrificed the men's Royal Rumble. Because this night should have ended with Shinsuke Nakamura pointing at the WrestleMania sign while AJ Styles was standing on the fucking ramp. That's what should have happened tonight. Did we get good wrestling tonight? Yes. Did we get a good men's Royal Rumble? Yes. It was actually a good Royal Rumble. They made me sick to my stomach. They made me nervous as hell that they were not going to give it to Shinsuke, and that's their job. To build the anticipation, to heighten the drama. Put the guy that you want to win against the number one villain in your heart. And this Royal Rumble ended exactly that way. Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura. You were hanging, by the end of that match, you were hanging on the edge of your couch. You had no fingernails left because you couldn't wait to see Shinsuke win this thing, and you were terrified that they were going to go the other way. And they didn't do that. And if that happened at the end of the night, in the main event spot, we would be sitting here singing a different tune. We really, really would. I just don't understand. If Ronda Rousey was there, why wasn't she in the Royal Rumble? There was obviously an available spot. Alicia Fox was taken out of this Royal Rumble earlier in the day due to an injury. Kurt Angle announced it on Twitter. There was an empty spot. Who was that last minute fill-in? Jacqueline? We needed to see Jacqueline again? I have nothing against Jacqueline, but come on. Come on. While we're on the topic of returning women, somebody tell me why Michelle McCool was so dominant in this Rumble. And why are we featuring the divas of the past that we're trying to forget about? I had to stomach Kelly coming out in this thing. Michelle McCool coming out looking like a scoliosis victim. She should have came out in a back brace. She couldn't even walk. She couldn't even throw a kick. Disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Somebody said Trish Stratus was there. I didn't see Trish Stratus. Did you see Trish Stratus in that ring? I didn't see a Trish Stratus. I heard them say it. I heard the music. But what I saw was a very poor impersonation of a drag queen dressed up as Trish Stratus. What was that? That wasn't Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus don't look like that. What did she do to her face? That was my girl back in the day. That's not what I remember. Molly Holly's all hunched over. Everybody just looked horrible that came back. Tori Wilson. Why? Why? When was she ever a real wrestler? Was she a former champion like Molly Holly? Or, I mean, at least Michelle McCool had that to her credit. She's a former champion. Who cares? She was only in there because she's banging The Undertaker. Disgraceful. There were great moments in that match. Like I said, Ember Moon, Asuka, Nia Jax, all fantastic. The return of the Bella Twins, great. Everything else was boring. Was slow. Uneventful. Couple of things, like we already mentioned. The apparent starting of a heel turn for Sasha Banks, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. She could turn around and act like a bitch all she wants, and then the next day come out and be friends with Bayley again. Doesn't matter that she threw her ass out of the Royal Rumble. I did like that. Hoping that the WWE goes with that. Obviously, with Asuka going to challenge for one belt, and now Rousey going to challenge for the other. This was definitely a good way to start the Sasha Banks Bayley feud that could actually work when the pieces are in the proper places. Wow. That was intense. That was intense because that's how I felt. In the immediate minutes when I was watching that whole ending, that travesty of an ending where Asuka got lost in the shuffle, Rousey's walking around smiling, pointing at the WrestleMania sign. Why is she pointing at the WrestleMania sign? What gives her the right to walk in and demand a main event at WrestleMania? A women's championship match at WrestleMania. Why? That was the absolute worst way you could have debuted this woman ever. Number 30 hits, and we get this impersonation of Trish Stratus that comes out. I still don't believe that was really her. Trish Stratus was a beautiful woman. I don't know what that was. And immediately it just became like, why is this the main event? Why? Just because it's the first time? You want to put Asuka and feature Asuka as the winner, but that's why it was the main event? I was fine with that. And then they shit all over it. Can you guys explain it to me? Can you see how that did any good for anybody involved at the end of the night? Because I don't fucking see it. I love the Royal Rumble. It's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. Just like many of you. Any self-respecting wrestling fan will admit that the Royal Rumble is their favorite pay-per-view of the year. Let's try to go back to a positive note. The Men's Royal Rumble did feature some great spots. AJ Styles' handicap match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was fantastic. It was very good. AJ Styles is on his way to meet Shinsuke Nakamura. That's the most important thing. It's what we've asked for, it's what we've wanted, and finally we are getting it. Unfortunately, on that same night, we're going to have to stomach a Roman Reigns victory as well, as nothing seems to be changing on that planet in the Raw universe. But I will take that, because they are giving us what we really want. The 2 out of 3 Falls SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match was a very surprising thing tonight. For the first time, I think, ever, the WWE did not do their standard one team wins, another team wins, and then we concluded in the third round. The Usos, the current best tag team on the planet, went back-to-back with pinfalls against the challengers, Gable and Benjamin. Fantastic. I thought it was great. It came so out of nowhere. It genuinely surprised me. And I thought it was great. The pre-show stuff, I didn't watch the Cruiserweight 6-man tag. I did not watch that at all. I did, however, watch Bobby Roode's open challenge, only because I was interested to see who the challenger would be, and was immediately disappointed to find out that it was Mojo Rawley. What is with his theme song? His theme song sounds like it should belong to one of the ladies. One of the girls on the women's division side. It's just got a very feminine tone to it. And it doesn't fit this angry, hyper individual. It's very off-putting. And while we're on that subject of him coming out, there was a real big missed opportunity here. Who is Mojo Rawley's best friend? Who was the guy at WrestleMania last year that helped kickstart Mojo Rawley's 2017 that led him to here? Rob Gronkowski. Where is the Royal Rumble? Philadelphia. Who's in the Super Bowl? Philadelphia. Where does Rob Gronkowski play? New England. Why didn't Mojo Rawley come out wearing his buddy's jersey? To really generate some heat. Do you know how badly he would have been booed if he would have come out wearing a Patriots jersey? Take a page out of the old school days. Edge and Christian would have done that. Kurt Angle would have done that. Something to that effect. You want to get heat? What better way to get heat? The hometown's team is going up against my best friend's team. I can wear his jersey and everybody's going to hate me. It's simple. Missed opportunities all over the place. I didn't care about the match. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Bobby Roode won. Surprise. Surprise. Nothing really of importance happened outside of the 2 Royal Rumbles. Everything else, like I said, stayed the same. That triple threat match, though, they were playing fast and loose with the rule book, as that match pretty much came off like a fucking horror movie more than anything else. It was like Freddy versus Jason versus Michael Myers. These guys were killing each other. They might as well have been stabbing each other, shooting each other. They were getting up from everything. Breaking tables, steel steps, chair shots. And these guys just kept getting up. Braun Strowman was rising like a monster from the wreckage after Brock Lesnar flipped the announce table on top of him. Booker T running for his life, leaving Michael Cole and Corey Graves out there. It was fun to see, but it was nothing that I didn't already expect. It was a spot fest between 3 massive giants. I was alright with it. I was just grateful that they didn't take the belt off of Brock, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because if they don't take the belt off of Brock, he's obviously headed towards WrestleMania and Roman Reigns. We're going to have to see how the Elimination Chamber starts to take shape after this post-Rumble smoke starts to clear from the air. What else happened tonight? Did I cover everything? I'm pretty sure we did. Obviously, I was really, really upset at the way this show went off the air. That is the most dominant thing in my mind. It is the biggest thing that is bothering me amongst this whole thing. I don't have a problem with Ronda Rousey. I don't. But when they do something like this, it makes you analyze it and look at it in a different way. And you start to say, well, why is she so damn special that they just put her over everything? Over the women's revolution, over the evolution, over Stephanie, over everything. Speaking of Stephanie, let's be grateful she wasn't dressed for competition. As soon as she came out to assume her announcing duties, I noticed immediately that her dress would be absolutely inappropriate for competition, so I kind of calmed down on my worriment of her becoming an entrant in this Royal Rumble. And to her credit, she wasn't too grating on the ears. She kind of laid out pretty appropriately. I mean, she did put some real bad one-liners in there and pushed the agenda when necessary, but it was not as bad as I expected from Stephanie McMahon. The 2018 Royal Rumble has got to be at least within the top 5 of anybody's category now that it is concluded. It just has the perfect winner. It had a great amount of drama. We had some big names in that Royal Rumble that were very unexpected. The NXT champion, which I don't know why I didn't expect it. It's kind of like a thing that they do now, right? Isn't the NXT champion at the time usually show up in the Royal Rumble? Andrade Cien Almas definitely deserved that spot after the match he had last night with Johnny Wrestling. We talked about that in the NXT review. Absolutely unbelievable night. Although this show, no matter what, could not hold a candle to what happened last night. Also from last night, Adam Cole, baby, made his Royal Rumble debut. It was nice to see him. We had Rey Mysterio make his big return. Everybody finally knows he's definitely coming to the WWE. He's been teasing. He's been going everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. He came back home to the WWE. Probably going to the Cruiserweight division. I'm alright with that. I would have been much happier if I saw the return of a Neville tonight. I was very hopeful that they were going to squash everything that was going on with them and we would have seen Neville return in the Royal Rumble. I thought that would have been amazing. Instead, we got the Hurricane come back. Right? We've seen the Hurricane on social media all week, pining for the general manager's position for 205 Live. Seems like it's pretty much a lock now that he's been in the Royal Rumble. Interesting segment. It was the obligatory and necessary humor segment of the Royal Rumble. But while we're talking about humor segments, let's talk about Kofi Kingston. I love Kofi. I love his Royal Rumble antics. Right? Right. I think this year they pushed it just a little too far, don't you? Just because a pancake is on the floor, does that really constitute your foot not being on the floor? It just bothered me. I don't know, man. I'm like, are we really stretching this far? They're trying so hard to be creative that they're trying too hard, and what they're coming up with just seems like nonsense. You mean to tell me a grown-ass man in a pinstripe referee outfit is going to allow you to stand on a pancake, which is literally like a 1/4 inch thick, and claim that that's not on the floor? How did they have the perfect size pancake so that his heel or toe did not exceed the limitations and touch the floor? And then the guy's hopping out there on one foot. He was actually out Kofi'd tonight by Naomi in the Women's Royal Rumble, who made her way to the barricade, balanced her way all the way to the announce desk, and then wheelbarrowed herself to the steel steps with her feet on the chair. Definitely a better thing than what we've seen from Kofi Kingston. Although the way the New Day launched him back into the ring was pretty impressive, but Big E Langston's a strong bastard, and Kofi Kingston's not that heavy. But he did get some pretty impressive elevation, only to be dumped out anyway. We saw a lot of that kind of stuff tonight. Finn Balor, the Iron Man of the Men's Royal Rumble, Sasha Banks, the Iron Woman of the Women's Royal Rumble, both of them pretty unceremoniously dumped out. In Finn Balor's case, it was a lot more dramatic, and the crowd kind of got sucked out with it, but we still had Shinsuke in there. My Final Four pick was for Shinsuke, Randy Orton, John Cena, and Roman Reigns. I was off by one, as Randy Orton was the one that got eliminated, leaving Finn Balor in the Final Four instead. The rest is history. The way it went down in the end was nothing but beneficial for Nakamura. It's nothing more than I could have asked for. And you have to be happy with the end results. your personal opinions on the show aside, because that's my problem. I have a problem with the show, but the matches tonight were very good. The winners and losers did make sense. And we're going to have to see how the road to WrestleMania begins, starting tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Man, what a night. This was a very exhausting show. The crowd was absolutely exhausted after the Royal Rumble, as was I. You could see it. It was unbelievable. There was very little, if any, investment in the Raw Tag Team match that followed. The triple threat for the Universal Championship brought everybody back, and then the Women's Royal Rumble just kind of was there. You know? Nobody really reacted to anybody. A couple of the legends coming back. Molly Holly got a nice little pop. Tori Wilson got a pop, like I said. But all in all, very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. And disappointing. Disappointing with the way it went off the air. Terrible. At the risk of saying the same things over and over and over again, that's going to be your Royal Rumble review on this Sunday, January the 28th, 2018. Thank you guys for checking us out. I'm sorry I got upset. I'm sorry I got all worked up. But I love wrestling. I'm passionate about it, and that's how I feel. That's how I felt. That's how I will continue to feel. Because the WWE just makes me so mad sometimes. With the harebrained and nonsensical decisions that they make. Business-related decisions. That ruin everything that you've accomplished on this night. You ruined everything in one fell swoop by having that woman come out at the end of this night to do nothing but point and shake hands. What a waste. What a lack of creativity. Absolutely disgusting. Tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw. Make sure you guys tune in and check us out after the show, because we will tell you what we think about that too. And we are not afraid, as you guys seen here tonight, to bring that hammer down. If you enjoyed today's show, do not forget to subscribe to this channel right now. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you will be notified every time a show just like this one hits the airwaves right here on YouTube. You will not miss a thing. I promise. Just ring that bell and you will be in the know. Make sure you like this video. Throw that thumbs up over the top rope. Eliminate it yourself. Super kick it. Power bomb it. Do whatever you want to do. Just hit it. Make sure you let me know that you love this show. You love everything we're doing here, and that you join the show by hitting that thumbs up, and then share this video with all your wrestling buddies. Anybody that you know that watched the Royal Rumble, they probably need to hear what I had to say. This way they're not all stuck in the clouds or like all happy like, oh look, it's Ronda Rousey and Asuka. No. Let me bring you guys back down to earth, because that's what we do here. Thank you very much for checking us out. Follow me on Twitter at Nick Nightmare. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, all one word. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is Blue the Snowball Microphone. Tonight was the Royal Rumble. It was better than it's been, but it's always something with the WWE. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here, where we bring the hammer down on the world of professional wrestling, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw, and hopefully they don't set me off like they set me off tonight. I'm sorry for yelling.